One Jacob lived in the land of his father's travels, in the land of Canaan. This is the history of the generations of Jacob. Joseph, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brothers. He was a boy with the sons of Bilhah and Zilpah, his father's wives. Joseph brought an evil report of them to their father. Free now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age, and he made him a tunic of many colors. For his brothers saw that their father loved him more than all his brothers, and they hated him and couldn't speak peaceably to him.
5 Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it to his brothers, and they hated him all the more. 6 he said to them,
please hear this dream which I have dreamed.
7 For behold, we were binding sheaves in the field,
And behold, my sheaf arose and also stood upright.
Thus behold,
Your sheaves came around and bowed down to my sheaf.
his brothers asked him,
Will you indeed reign over us? Will you indeed have dominion over us?
they hated him all the more for his dreams, and for his words 9 he dreamed yet another dream, and told it to his brothers, and said, behold, I have dreamed yet another dream. And behold, the sun and the moon and 11 stars bow down to me. He told it to his father and to his brothers. His father rebuked him and said to him,
What is this dream that you have dreamed? Will I and your mother and your brothers indeed come to bow ourselves down to the earth before you? His brothers envied him, but his father kept this saying in mind.
12 his brothers went to feed their father's flock. In Shechem 13 Israel said to Joseph,
Aren't your brothers feeding your flock in Shechem? Come,
and I will send you to them. He said to him, here I am. He said to him,
go now,
he said to him,
go now,
see whether it is well with your brother,
call at the flock.
and bring me word again.
So he sent him out of the valley of Hebron.
Then he came to Shechem 50 days. Certain man found him, and behold, he was wandering in the field. The man asked him, what are you looking for? He said, I am looking for my brothers. Tell me please where they are feeding the flock. The man said, they have left here, for I heard them say, let's go to Dothan. Joseph went after his brothers and found them in Dothan 18. They saw him afar off,
And before he came into them,
they conspired against him to kill him. 19. They said to one another, behold, if swimmer comes 20, come down therefore,
let's kill him.
and cast him into one of the pits, and we will say,
An evil animal
has devoured him. We will see what will become of his dreams. 20 were Reuben heard it, and delivered him out of their head, and said, let's not take his life.
or take his life.
20 were Reuben said to them, shed no blood, throw him into this pit that is in the wilderness, but lay no hand on him, that he might deliver him out of their hand.
So restore him to his father.
23, when Joseph came to his brother,
Raise him to his brothers.
he stripped Joseph of his tunic, the tunic of many colors that was on him,
24 and they took him.
and threw it into the pit. The pit was empty, there was no water in it. 25, they sat down to eat bread, and they lifted up their eyes and looked, and saw a caravan of Ishmaelites coming from Gilead, with their camels bearing spices and ball and dirt, going to carry it down to Egypt. 26, Judah sent to his brothers, what listened to him. 28 Midianites who were merchants passed by, and they drew and lifted up Joseph out of the pit, and sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver. The merchant brought Joseph into Egypt. 29 Reuben returned to the pit and saw that Joseph wasn't in the pit, and he tore his clothes 30. He returned to his brothers up and said, "The child is no more, and where will I go?" 31 T took Joseph's tunic and chilled the male goat and dipped the tunic in the blood. 32 T took the tunic of many colors, and they brought it to their father and said, "We have found this exhibit now, and see if it's your son's tunic or not." 33, he recognized it and said, "It is my son's tunic. An evil animal has devoured it." Joseph it without doubt, torn in pieces. 74 Jacob tore his clothes and put sackcloth on his waist, and mourned for his son many days. 35 all his sons and all his daughters rose up to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted. He said, "For I will go down to Sheol to my son, Lord. It's harder once to heal, there he sits, the Midianite sold him into Egypt to Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, the captain of the guard."
Oh, honey. Oh. At that time, Judah went down from his brothers and visited a certain Adulamite whose name was Hira to there. Judah saw the daughter of a certain Canaanite man named Shua. He took her and went into her 3. She conceived and bore a son, and he named him. Therefore she conceived again and bore a son, and she named him. On 5 she yet again bore a son and named him Shelah. He was at Shezib when she bore him. 6 Judah took a wife for Er, his firstborn, and her name was Tamar. 7 Judah's firstborn was wicked in Yahweh's sight, so Yahweh killed him. Judah said to Onan, "Go into your brother's wife and perform the duty of a husband's brother to her, and raise up offspring for your brother." Mine Onan knew that the offspring wouldn't be his, and when he went into his brother's wife, he spilled his semen on the ground, lest he should give offspring to his brother. 10 The thing which he did was evil in Yahweh's sight, and he killed him also. 11 Then Judah said to Tamar, his daughter-in-law, "Remain a widow in your father's house until Shelah my son is grown up." For he said, lest he also die like his brothers. Tamar went and lived in her father's house. 12 After many days, Shua's daughter, the wife of Judah, died. Judah was comforted and went up to his sheep shearers to Timnah, he and his friend Hira, the Adullamite. 13 Tamar was cold. Behold, your father-in-law is going up to Timnah to share his sheep. She took off the garments of her widowhood and
covered herself with her veil and wrapped herself, and sat in the gate of Enaim, which is on the way to Timnah. For she saw that Shelah was grown up, and she wasn't given to him as a wife. 15 Judah saw her.
He thought that she was a prostitute,
For she had covered her face. 16 They turned to her by the way and said, Please come, let me come into you. For he didn't know that she was his daughter-in-law. She said, What will you give me that you may come into me? 7 What will you give me that you may come into me? 7 Will you give me that you may come into me?
7 said,
He said, I will send you a young goat from the flock. She said,
Will you give me a pledge?
Until you said it.
18
Said, What word will I give you? She said, Your seed and your corn, and your staff that is in your hand. He gave them to her,
came into
and then she conceived by him. 19 She arose and went away, and put off her veil from her, and put all the garments of a widowhood. 20 Judah sent the young goat by the hand of his friend, the Adulamite, to receive the pledge from the woman's hand. But he didn't find her 21, and he asked the men of her place, saying, Where's the prostitute that was hanging in by the road? He said, There has been no prostitute here. 22 He returned to Judah and said, I haven't found her. And also the man of the praise said, There has been no prostitute here. 22 That said, Let her keep it lest we be shamed. Behold, I sent this young goat, and you haven't found her. 24 About 3 months later,
Judah was told, Tamar, your daughter-in-law,
has played the prostitute's over.
behold, she is me child by prostitution.
Judah said, Bring her out and let her be burned. 25 When she was brought out, she sent to her father-in-law, saying, I am with child by the man who owns these. She also said, Please discern whose these are, the singlets and the cords and the staff.
26 should acknowledge them.
Men said, She is more righteous than I, because I didn't give her to Shelah, my son. He knew her again no more. 27 In the time of her travail, behold, twins were in her womb.
28 when she travailed,
One cut out her hand, and the midwife took and tied a scarlet thread on his hand, saying, This came out first. 29 As he drew back his hand, behold, this brother came out.
this brother came out.
Bitch, he said,
Why have you made a breach?
For yourself. Therefore his name was Tophereth. 30 afterward his brother came out, who had the scarlet thread on his head, and his name was Moshe.
was brought down to Egypt. Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh's, a captain of the guard, an Egyptian, bought him from the hand of the Ishmaelites that had brought him down there. Yahweh was with Joseph, and he was a prosperous man. He was in the house of his master. The Egyptian freed his master, saw that Yahweh was with him, and that Yahweh made all that he did prosper in his hand. For Joseph found favor in his sight, he ministered to him, and Potiphar made him overseer over his house, and all that he had, he put into his hand. Five from the time that he made him overseer in his house, and over all that he had, Yahweh blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sake. Yahweh's blessing was on all that he had, in the house and in the field. 6, he left all that he had in Joseph's hand. He didn't concern himself with anything except for the food which he ate. Joseph was well built and handsome. 7 after these things, his master's wife set her eyes on Joseph, and she said, "Lie with me." 8, but he refused, and said to his master's wife, "Behold, my master doesn't know what is with me in the house, and he has put all that he has into my hand. 9, no one is greater in this house than I am, and he has not kept back anything from me but you, because you are his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God?" 10, as she spoke to Joseph day by day, he didn't listen to her, to lie by her, or to be with her. 11, about this time, he went into the house to do his work, and there were none of the men of the house inside. 12, she caught him by his garment, saying, "Lie with me." He left his garment in her hand and ran outside. 13, when she saw that he had left his garment in her hand and had run outside. 14, she called to the men of her house and spoke to them, saying, "Behold, he has brought a Hebrew into us to mock us. He came into me to lie with me, and I cried with a loud voice." 15, when he heard that I lifted up my voice and cried, he left his garment by me and ran outside. 16, as he laid up his garment by her until his master came home. 17, she spoke to him according to these words, saying, "The Hebrew servant whom you have brought to us came in to eat among me." 18, and as I lifted up my voice and cried, he left his garment by me and ran outside. 19, David by me, when his master heard the words of his wife, which she spoke to him, saying, "This is what
the place where the king's prisoners were bound, and he was there in custody. 21, but Yahweh was with Joseph and showed kindness to him, and gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. 22, the keeper of the prison committed to Joseph's hand all the prisoners who were in the prison. Whatever they did,